Hey guys, welcome to another video. My name is Ivan Mendoza, and here in this channel we kind of review and check out some of the best travel gear out there. So today I will be talking about the famous Osmo Pocket. Now this is a DJI product, one of a kind. Definitely was really cool when it came out. I believe this is now a little over a year old. Today we're going to be talking about whether or not this guy is still a very powerful travel camera. So let's get right into it, guys. All right, so a few things I want to note about the DJI Osmo Pocket. This thing is tiny. Just look at this. It essentially has a camera that is pretty much mounted on a DJI drone, right? It's this guy here with the stabilizer. This is a 3-axis stabilizer. And that's crazy because on a size like this, like it looks like you're holding one of those battery sticks with just a stabilized camera on top. And this thing, look at that. That is, it like calibrates itself every time you turn it on. It's really cool. I'm gonna go ahead and give you the 4 pros of this camera. First pro is the 4K 60. You know, not a lot of cameras have 4K 60. There's very few, especially if you're traveling, you want to travel light. This guy has 4K 60, which is insane. Now the quality is not the best, but it's still 4K 60, and in my opinion, it is better than the iPhone 11 Max Pro camera, which also records 4K 60. You can slow down your footage, or you can kind of, you know, capture a more wider field of view and then crop and post for 1080p footage. Like, the resolutions on this camera are so flexible that this makes it a very easy, like, grab and go camera for when you're traveling. So one of the next best features of this little tiny camera is the hyperlapse / motion lapse / time lapse functionality. This is where I feel like the Osmo Pocket is highly underrated. Now that is one of the most amazing features, because if you're gonna do this on a full frame like a Sony camera, you need to buy like an Edel crane or something that can automate that movement for you, because you're not gonna do it yourself. You're just gonna be there. It's gonna be a long process. But with this guy, it's so simple. Just to select the motion lapse feature, kind of record your up to 4 points, so you can make it go diagonal or whichever way you want. It'll just handle the rest. It even tells you the duration of how long the clip is gonna be. Now it does stitch the photos for you, which is a good thing and a bad thing. So for those people who are looking for more pro features, that's bad because you'd want more control, bring it in Lightroom yourself, get the exposure right. For someone who's like on the grab and go and you just want to like shoot anything, this is perfect for that, because you just set it, forget it, and then you have a motion lapse video at the end of the session. The sheer size of this thing, like, as you can see, this thing is so convenient. It fits in your pocket, hence the name Osmo Pocket. You pull this thing out, you turn it on, takes like, 4 seconds to turn on, and then boom, you hit record and you're ready to go. And it does have that selfie mode, so it will turn 180. Given the size, it's very small. I love that feature, and I love the size, because when you're out there traveling, vlogging, sometimes you don't want to hold a big camera in front of you. It's a little bit embarrassing. You just pull this guy out and you have a full-fledged 4K camera right there on your hand. The last pro of this camera for travel is the top-down view, like the convenience of using this as a top-down view camera. I was able to mount it on my ceiling fan and pointing down. So that's very cool. Given the size of this, you could pretty much duct tape this to a pole, to the roof even, and you have a top-down approach. Now bundle this with like one of the wireless accessories and you can control it from your phone, frame it, and you're good to go. So this thing really does come in handy as a secondary top view camera. All right, guys, now let's go ahead and get into the cons of the Osmo Pocket. The biggest con and my biggest pet peeve about this little camera, it hits the spot on everything but the field of view. What I mean by that, if you don't know what field of view is essentially like how wide of an angle this is, right? It's not a GoPro in terms of super wide lens. It's just right up there with like a kit lens. The field of view is just not that wide. Right here, like it's a decent distance from my face, but when you record the picture, it still feels pretty close up. Like it's not as wide as you would want it to be. This is essentially how far you want to get a decent sized shot. And that's been my biggest problem, because although field of view is not a big deal for me, essentially when you're walking around, you don't think about that. I would say that's the biggest problem with this, is the field of view. The next con about this is, given that it's so small, and even though it's stabilized, there's a lot of like bobbing, kind of like a boat effect. So when you're trying to record, it's really hard to like keep it steady level in the horizon, because given how it's so small, you'll do a lot of this, and that is noticeable in footage. And that's just due to the sheer size of this thing. There's not much you can do. You kind of have to pretend you have a much bigger object and just hold it as steady as you can. But other than that, you will get the bobbing very easily. I want to use this guy for vlogging. Unfortunately, the microphone, so I believe it has two, one down here, one there, and I think they work together to kind of cancel out the noise. Two things, the placement. So it's right above the record button there, and sometimes when I press record, I kind of put my thumb right there, so I end up blocking the microphone port. We are here, sorry for the audio, it's a bit windy. So there's no speakers on this thing, so you can't really check. You can check the video, but you can't check the audio unless you hook it up to your phone. But when you're running gun situation, you don't have time to do that. The audio is basically gone, like it's all muffled and covered. The next thing is like, it's a very sensitive microphone, so even when you're not blocking it, it depends, like if something's over your mouth or anything like a mask, it really struggles to record clearly. Now, I don't know if this is because I have it on auto, or if it's just the fact that just the way the microphones work, the audio is not the best. I would say iPhone records way better audio. Last but not least, my last con with this guy is the lack of accessories that ship with this thing. So what you get is, you get the camera itself, you get two connectors that would slide in here that connect to your phone. So essentially, your phone kind of goes like that. And you can use this as a, electronic viewfinder to get a better composition of your frame. Here are the accessories you really need to get the most out of this guy. Now, this is the wireless module adapter. Now, this does come extra, but essentially you clip it down there, and this thing's awesome for two reasons. One, it gives it stability, so you can set it on a table. Essentially, without it, you can still set it, but it's a little bit more wobbly, so it's not stable. You can control the camera wirelessly through the app on your phone. So you place this guy down. This is what I was talking about when you use it as a top view camera mounted above you, is you can frame your shot wirelessly without running a lightning cable down the pole. So that's very nice. I would say this is the accessory you'd want to get for the Osmo. But this essentially kind of helps you. It's like the joystick on a gimbal or on a stabilizer. What this actually does is you just slide it in, and you have this wheel, and this wheel kind of helps you get that more smooth panning up and down, sideways, because right now, all you have is just touchscreen. So you can pan up and down with the touchscreen, but given, if you have a big thumb like I do, that's gonna be hard to kind of, smoothly bring the camera up. So like, there's some really cool shots you can do where you're moving forward and you're bringing the camera, from bottom to top. But this, you get a few things. So you can control the pan up and down, and it's nice and sensitive, so you can control it well. It also has a one-click selfie mode. So you can activate selfie by pressing this button 3 times, but this just does it once, which is nice, because sometimes I find myself doing it 4 or 2, and I can never get it right. And if you're like in a rush, you can miss that opportunity. So that's it, guys. That has been my travel gear review of the DJI Osmo Pocket. A really good camera, but again, I wouldn't recommend picking this guy up unless you're looking for that second camera, that, you know, that B camera, that backup camera, because for the price point at $350, 4K 60, stabilized gimbal, like, it's definitely worth it, but not, I wouldn't say, as a main camera. That's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching this little travel gear review. First time trying this kind of video, so hopefully you like it. Put a comment below if you own this camera, you know, what you like about it, what you don't like about it, and whether or not you're thinking about getting it. Thank you so much for watching. Go ahead and hit that like button. This was helpful for you. And if you want to see more videos about travel gear, me just traveling everywhere, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. All right, guys, thank you so much, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.